What if I told you that speed, power and agility don't actually make a legendary plane, but versatility does? If you've never seen an aircraft that could land on water, operate from mountain slopes, handle rough terrain, take off and land in incredibly short distances, carry passengers and cargo, perform search and rescue missions, conduct aerial photography, operate on skis, support parachute operations, and much more, then you haven't met the Pilatus PC-6 Porter. The plane that wasn't even built to break speed records or dominate dogfight, but was actually built to go where others couldn't, land where others wouldn't, and perform missions that seemed impossible. And all those things right there, like all those things I mentioned earlier, is exactly why it became one of the most respected utility aircraft ever built. And I will tell you guys how, so stick with me, because in this video we'll take a closer look at the engineering, design features and capabilities that allowed just one aircraft to perform all those roles. This is Sky Review Zone, and without any further ado, let me show you how marvelous the Pilatus PC-6 Porter was. Now take a look at those wings. They were so effective that the aircraft was once described as being one of the most helicopter-like airplanes in terms of its takeoff performance. And honestly, it's not hard to see why, because those large high lift wings allowed the PC-6 to generate massive lift even at very slow speeds and in thin mountain air where many aircrafts even struggle to perform. In fact, this capability helped the PC-6 achieve one of its most famous records when it landed on Nepal's Dhaulagiri's glacier at nearly 19,000 feet. I think 18,700 precisely. Now, that might not sound so impressive until you realize that Dhaulagiri is the 7th highest mountain in the world, and at that altitude the air there is very thin that many aircraft begin to lose performance dramatically. Even some utility aircraft, including competitors like the Antonov AN2, will struggle to operate efficiently there. But the PC-6 not only operated there, it actually landed there. So how did this even manage to land at that altitude? Well, the PC-6 had the performance that backed it up. With a service ceiling of nearly 27,000 feet, the aircraft was built to work in environments where most utility aircraft were reaching their limits. Also, the wing design allowed it to generate lift even at altitudes where the air is so thin, and also gave the PC-6 a remarkably low stall speed of just 96 km per hour. In simple terms, it could fly slower than many aircraft without losing lift, allowing it to make tighter approaches, operate from shorter airstrip, and maintain control at even lower speeds. The PC-6 high-wing layout even brought more advantages. It provided better ground clearance on rough terrain, improved visibility below the aircraft, made loading cargo easier, and offered greater stability during slow-speed operations on bush trips, mountain airfields, and remote landing zones. In many ways, these wings were the secret behind the PC-6's ability to go where other aircraft simply couldn't. Having a powerful engine is one thing, but having a rugged and adaptable airframe and landing gear, it's another thing. And speaking of a powerful engine, we'll talk about that later in the video. Do you need to carry passengers? The PC-6 could carry 10. Do you need to haul cargo into a remote village? The PC-6 could carry about 2,200 pounds of cargo. Is this search and rescue missions, medical evacuation, aerial photography, surveillance, paradrop operations, bush flying, you name it? The PC-6 was built for it. Like, this plane could literally adapt to almost any mission, and that right there is what made the PC-6 legendary. The wings, fuselage and tail sections were built using a semi-monocoque structure, giving the aircraft an ideal balance of strength, durability and low weight. The aircraft was also designed from the start to be reconfigured quickly depending on the mission. Seats could be removed, stretchers installed, cargo loaded, camera equipment fitted, or utility benches added with minimal effort. Even the large sliding cargo doors didn't compromise the aircraft's structural integrity, thanks to its reinforced sections built into the fuselage. In a matter of hours, the same airplane could go from carrying passengers to transporting supplies or supporting a rescue mission. But versatility wasn't limited to the cabin. Take a look at those landing gear. Unlike many aircraft, the PC-6 sat high off the ground, giving its wings and propeller excellent clearance from rocks, uneven surfaces and rough terrain. This might not sound important until you are landing on a remote mountain strip where a propeller strike could end the mission instantly. And if the terrain changed, so could the aircraft. The PC-6 could be equipped with conventional wheels for rough airstrips, floats for water operations, skis for snow and glacier landings, mudguards and debris guards for rough terrain operations. What more could you ask for? In other words, Pilatus didn't just build an airplane, they built a platform that could be adapted to almost any environment on Earth. The aircraft was also fitted with low-pressure tires, powerful disc brakes, and a shock-absorbing undercarriage designed to handle hard landings and rough surfaces that would challenge many other aircraft. Just as importantly, Pilatus designed the PC-6 to be maintained far from major airports. Components were easy to access, many parts were interchangeable, and field repairs could often be carried out without specialized facilities. For operators working deep in the mountains, jungles, deserts, or Arctic regions, that simplicity was a huge advantage. Those results right there made an aircraft that wasn't just capable but adaptable. And that ability to change roles, operate from almost any surface, keep flying in harsh environments became one of the biggest reasons the Pilatus PC-6 earned its legendary reputation. Versatility means nothing if the aircraft doesn't have enough performance to back it up. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of the PC-6, its engine. In order for the aircraft to operate from mountain airstrips, remote jungles, rough terrain, and short runways, the aircraft needed something that was powerful, reliable, and capable of performing in environments where many aircraft struggled. The interesting thing here is that the Pilatus PC-6 wasn't born with the engine that made it famous. In fact, the earlier versions were powered by piston engines, but they lacked the performance needed for the aircraft's demanding missions. Then Pilatus later experimented with the direct TPE331 turboprop engine, which improved performance but introduced its own operational challenges. After those two, then came the Wright engine that changed everything, the Pratt Whitney PT6A. This time it wasn't just another upgrade, it was the engine that transformed the PC-6 into a legend. The PT6 produced a reliable 550 horsepower that gave the aircraft the ability to cruise comfortably at 213 km per hour, reach speeds of 232 km per hour, travel up to 730 km and climbed at an impressive 1,220 feet per minute. For a utility aircraft expected to operate in some of the world's most demanding environments, those numbers actually mattered. Now here's something most people don't realize. This engine wasn't just helping the aircraft get into the air, it was also helping it stop. The PT6 drove a fully reversible propeller system, meaning that the propeller blades could change their angle after landing and generate reverse thrust. For a plane designed to operate from short and rugged airstrips, that was a huge advantage because the engine wasn't just helping the PC6 take off in short distances, it was actually helping it land in short distances too. That was great, but there was another reason pilots trusted the PT6, and that was the consistency in the power output the engine provided. Because even though the engine was physically capable of producing more power, Pilatus and Pratt Whitney deliberately limited its output to around 550 horsepower. That might sound like a disadvantage, but it was actually one of the engine's greatest strengths, because by operating below its maximum capability, the engine could deliver a reliable performance across different temperatures, altitudes, and weather conditions while reducing wear and extending service life. For an aircraft expected to work in deserts, mountains, jungles, and remote regions, reliability was often more important than squeezing out a few extra horsepower. There was one final detail that also made the PT6 even more interesting. The exhaust outlets on the PT6 didn't just expel hot gases, they also generated a small amount of forward thrust, typically around 5 to 10% of the aircraft's total thrust output. That wasn't enough to transform the aircraft's performance on its own, but it was another example of how every part of the PT6 contributed to making the PC6 one of the most capable utility aircraft ever built. Now we are moving over to the cockpit, because the adaptability of the PC6 didn't just stop with its airframe and its landing gear. The cockpit was also designed with the same philosophy. Depending on the mission, operators could equip the aircraft with advanced systems such as autopilot, weather radar, terrain awareness warnings, traffic collision avoidance systems, satellite communications, FLIR night vision equipment, and even lightning detection systems. In other words, the cockpit could evolve just as easily as the aircraft itself. So whether serving as a bush plane, cargo hauler, surveillance platform, aerial surveys, or search and rescue aircraft, the PC-6 could be equipped with the tools needed for the job and could also be easy to use. And that was the recurring theme behind the entire aircraft, is adaptability. Was the cockpit also easy to use? Well, the simple answer is yes. The earlier PC-6 models featured traditional analog instruments, and pilots often praised them for their straightforward layout. Everything was designed around simplicity, allowing a single pilot to operate the aircraft entirely, even in demanding environments. And as technology advanced, so did the PC-6. The later variants introduced the Garmin G950 glass cockpit, replacing many of the traditional gauges with two large digital displays. Instead of having dozens of separate instruments spread across the panel, the G950 consolidated critical flight and system information into two large 10.4-inch displays, where the face screen served as the primary flight display, giving the pilot essential information such as airspeed, altitude, attitude, and navigational data. And the second acted as a multifunction display, providing maps, aircraft system information, mission data, and other operational tools. This not only reduced workload but also improved situational awareness, especially when operating in difficult terrain or poor weather. So if you are getting bored and you are beginning to think that adaptability stopped there, then you are wrong, because the PC-6 could also be equipped with firefighting systems, aerial spraying equipment, underwing fuel tanks, propeller de-icing systems, oxygen equipment for high altitude operations, sound filters for desert environments, and upgraded electrical systems for specialized mission equipment. And at this point, the better question isn't what the PC-6 could do, it's what it couldn't. It wasn't the fastest aircraft, it wasn't the most powerful, and it certainly wasn't the most advanced, but it could go where others couldn't, land where others wouldn't, and adapt to missions that many aircraft were never designed to perform. And perhaps that's the real lesson here. Great aircrafts are remembered for what they do. Legendary aircrafts are remembered for how many things they can do exceptionally well, and the PC-6 was one of those aircraft. Guys, hold on, we are not even done. If those things weren't impressive enough, one variant of this civilian utility aircraft was eventually armed with guns and rockets and set to support operations during the Vietnam War. If you would like to see that story, check out my video on the Fairchild A23A Peacemaker linked on the screen now. Now tell me, what makes legends if not the Pilatus PC-6? Thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think the most impressive capability of the Pilatus PC-6 Porter was.